Hi, and welcome to a podcast for all of you who are in one way or another working with or in the consumer packaged goods industry. This is an industry that is facing the challenge of consumer preferences that are shifting faster than ever, with expectations for more variety, personalization, and speed, putting pressure on production and supply chains. At this year's Hannover Messe, that took place April 20th to 24th, one of the world-leading industrial events, by the way, a whole and big showcase of the Siemens booth was dedicated to this consumer packaged goods industry, showing an end-to-end value chain of how ideas become products, data becomes value, and operations evolve with industrial AI. Two of the whole team of Siemens colleagues attending the fair from the Nordic region are Henrik Ruff from Denmark and Sara Nilsson from Sweden, both account managers for our customers in the consumer packaged goods industry. Let's start with Henrik. He was interviewed right in the bus of the Siemens booth and the CPG showcase at the Hannover Fair.
I'm Henrik Ruff. I'm from Siemens Denmark, responsible for CPG, consumer packaged good, the vertical as we have in Siemens.
Standing here in the bus of the Hannover Fair, we are in Siemens' huge booth here in Hall 27, right in the middle of the consumer packaged goods showcase. Can you tell us what is showcased here this year?
Their needs, you can say, is to accelerate their value chain. So we're talking about it, from their first initial ideas to the product design, to the production, and to the products really end up on the supermarket shelves where we all can buy them. It's not, we can say, one isolated tool, but it's like a whole value chain which become connected. And here we see a lot of use cases. We have it just in the background with Pringles. We have a PepsiCo case. I can really encourage everyone to come in and look more on these cases.
We are invited to follow the CPG journey. Can you walk us through it?
But it's coming more and more into software solutions. We can say everything starts with data. And the big challenge is really to how to get these data, which normally are in, let's say, in silos, but we need to have them into one integrated solution. I think that's really one of the challenges and where we in general can help the CPG companies.
Thank you so much, Henrik. Let's now move into a more quiet office space where Sara Nilsson, our Swedish colleague, has landed after a few intense days at the Hannover Fair.
My name is Sara Nilsson and I'm an account manager at Siemens, working with customers within the consumer packaged goods industry.
Did anything specific capture your interest in the consumer packaged goods showcase?
The big topic for this year was, of course, industrial AI. And two cases really stood out for me, and it was together with our customers Pringles and PepsiCo.
Do you want to start with the Pringles case?
Yeah, I think the Pringles case is a good one to start with, because they had a factory which was already quite well run. It was modern, automated, and also efficient.
So what was the challenge that Pringles were facing?
So the problem wasn't that it was inefficient or that anything was broken. It was that the process still depended heavily on the judgment of their experienced operators. Because making consistent dough is harder than it sounds. The raw materials vary, so the protein levels, the humidity, and the temperature. And every variation requires a recipe adjustment. And for years, that adjustment came from the instincts of the operators. And that's fine until those people leave, or if you want to run the same process across multiple sites. So what they did was they built a digital twin of the dough process with sensors measuring the incoming raw materials and then feeding that data into an AI model that calculates the right recipe in real time. So now, instead of relying on instincts, the operator gets a precise recommendation and then they adjust accordingly.
Are there any concrete results to share as well?
From this, they saw a 10% increase in line performance without any new hardware, 13% less waste, and a 7% reduction in energy consumption. And I think that the plant director summed it up pretty well when he said that he wanted to move from the art of food making to the science of food making.
So moving to the next case that was shared at the Hannover Messe by Siemens, it's PepsiCo. So how was that difference from the Pringles case you just shared?
So looking at the PepsiCo case, it's at a different scale. So here it's global manufacturing, large warehouses, and significant investment decisions. So instead, their challenge was, how do you improve a facility without physically rebuilding it first? So what they did was they built digital twins of their manufacturing and also warehouse facilities. So full simulations that are so close to reality that you can test changes and identify bottlenecks and also stress test scenarios before touching anything real.
What do they do then?
Traditionally, most problems surface or they come up during the installation phase when the equipment is already on the floor and the downtime can cost millions and millions of euros per hour.
And what was the results for PepsiCo?
So their result is now that they can identify up to 90% of potential issues before any physical modification is made. Looking at one of their Gatorade plants in the US, this approach delivered a 20% increase in throughput just within 3 months. And across all of their facilities worldwide, they estimate a 10 to 15% reduction in capital spending.
How was the new way of working different from how they had worked before?
Just because they are no longer building to find out, they're simulating first and then building with confidence.
To finish off, we need to touch again this industrial AI topic that is on everybody's minds, I feel. Can you conclude what the biggest outtake, the biggest win is from adding the industrial AI dimension for this consumer packaged good industry?
And looking on the entire industry, they are under some pressure. Higher input costs, sustainability requirements, and also a shifting consumer demand. And the data to solve some of these challenges is already there in most factories already. But what has been missing so far is the ability to act on it. But the quality of the outcome of these models completely depends on the quality of the data that's going in. So before even getting to the AI, you need to know what data you have, where it lives, and whether or not it actually describes reality. And that work can be quite unglamorous, but it's definitely what separates a good outcome from a wasted investment. And it's also not just about analyzing the past. It's about looking ahead, anticipating, for example, supply disruptions, and being able to reconfigure before problems actually happen. And I think that shift from reactive to adaptive is the real value of industrial AI in this industry.
Thank you so much, Henrik and Sarah, for sharing your experiences from this year's Hannover Fair and specifically the showcase from Siemens about the consumer packaged goods industry. If you are interested to find out more, it is all available as a digital experience online at siemens.com/Hannover-Messe. Or you can just simply Google Siemens Hannover Messe and you will get to the right page.